Traeger Nation, what's up? Chef Eduardo Garcia in my home kitchen. I'm so psyched to have everybody join me here today for a very special menu. A very special menu. The theme for this menu really came from the tables, my mom's table, my sister's table. So these are, the hand rolls menu that we're about to do is definitely, it's a meal that I have been chowing on since I was yay high. So it's special, near and dear to my heart. So Mom, Indra, if you're tuning in, I love you deeply and I'm grateful to have you here. For everyone else that's joining, welcome and thank you. We are going to be cooking a honey jalapeno chicken thigh. It's one of my favorite cuts of chicken is the chicken thigh. Lots of good fat in there, so it usually stays nice and juicy. And then of course, the yellowtail collar. We're gonna do a grilled yellowtail collar. And that comes right off here, off the jaw. Yellowtail, it's in the jack family, and it is an oilier fish or a fattier fish, so really lends itself well to grilling. We're gonna cook both of those on pecan pellets today. We're gonna use the Ranger, which is set up here in my kitchen because it is still winter here in Montana. And although the temps aren't bad out today, it could have been sleeting sideways, buckets of snow, and maybe we'll do that TKL for everybody one day, but we decided to play it safe, and we have a Ranger underneath the hood exhaust system here in my home kitchen, my hearth. We use this kitchen for all of Montana Mex's studio work, our photography, so it's set up for commercial cooking. I highly recommend not throwing your Ranger on in your kitchen unless you got a hood. Okay, so just some rules to play with. And then of course, this TKL will be different for everybody and me because we're gonna do a giveaway. The giveaway is inspired from a artist series that just launched this last weekend, a collaboration between Traeger Grills, Montana Mex, and a new friend to me, a fellow burn survivor, artist Noelle Wyman out of Lander, Wyoming. If you haven't checked her out, check her out. We'll throw some links up, and we have all over our Instagram this last week because this artist series, it's quite beautiful. It's where Traeger takes a piece of art, digitizes it onto a hat. This is the hat of the series, and a t-shirt. And then the sales, the profits from those sales, it's a limited run, limited release, and the profits from that sale go to a cause. In this case, it's going to the University of Utah's Burn Trauma Center, and it's going to fund an adult burn camp at the end of this year. I have been trying since the day I was discharged after my electrical injury. I spent 50 days in that ICU ward, and since day one I've been thinking, how can I give back? So when this opportunity came up, I said, yes, let's do that. So it's really, really exciting for me to be a part of this artist series. And what we're also gonna do is on this TKL, we're gonna do a giveaway. So first things first, I guess the giveaway package, and I'll show you over here over my shoulder. We have a bag of pecan pellets, the Montana Mex Keto Pack, so that's our avocado oil, our chile seasoning, our jalapeno seasoning, and we're also gonna be throwing in a pair of these tongs. And then on top of those, you're gonna get this artist series hat. It's a limited run. Profits go to that adult burn camp, the University of Utah's Burn Trauma Center. And it is just such a rad design. Noelle Wyman, you knocked it out of the park. I'm gonna wear this till it's just nothing but threads. And it is a great horned owl, Traeger and Montana Mex represented underneath it. But right in the center of that owl is an anatomical heartbeat. Just super, super cool. And really I guess the impetus and genesis behind this, I'm gonna walk back over to my station. The intention behind this artist series and the owl, it is an animal of the West. It is an animal that called to the artist. And then also here at Montana Mex, the great horned owl has been a mascot for us since our early days at farmers markets when our green picante hot sauce, which ended up turning into this jalapeno seasoning, which we're gonna use today. But this used to be a fresh product. And folks would come up, take a big bite of mild salsa, guacamole, And if we weren't looking, they'd take a big bite of that green jalapeno hot sauce. And I think they got that flavor, but they also got that heat. And they'll go, woo! Woo, that's hot, woo! And they would hoot. And so we started calling it hot sauce to hoot about. And then all of a sudden, the whole mention of hooting, kind of exclaiming and standing for something, really brought that owl symbol to life. And so when Noel sort of brought that piece of art to me and said, hey, what about this? Immediately I said, yep, that's what we're going to go with. It's the Montana Mex totem. It's our spirit animal. And so this artist series, it's just awesome to see it out in the world. So without any further ado, that's what we're up to. We're going to get cooking right now. We got some hand rolls to get going. Our grill is set at 400. And first things first, we're going to start with the chicken. Raw chicken thighs. Checked them out. No stray feathers. They look nice and clean. So what I like to do in my marinade for chicken thigh, I'm going to use microplane. We're going to get some Montana Mex avocado oil in here. This is a heart-healthy oil for all of you. We're going to take some honey. Get in the bottom of the jar. This is honey from bees right here on the property. So thanks to my wife, Becca Skinner, for tending to these suckers. I think there's about 30,000 of them out there. Probably just excited that I'm using their honey in this marinade. I like to think that they're excited about it. Honey, avocado oil, splash of soy sauce. We're going to use the Montana Mex jalapeno seasoning. Some of you at this point are not new to me here in the Traeger Nation, but if you're new to the jalapeno seasoning, it's jalapeno, a little bit of oregano, cilantro, sea salt, garlic, and I think the recipe calls for 1.5 teaspoons. Just go for it. If you like spice, get it in there. So it's really up to you. You can design how much you put in there, and it'll bump the flavor a little bit, but also just that spice. So if you're a spicy lover, maybe go 2 teaspoons. I'm gonna throw a little bit of our red chili seasoning blend, and then we're gonna throw a squeeze of lemon. I like to roll my lemon first, putting a little bit of weight on it. This is going to open up all of the cell walls, not all of them, but it helps more juice come out of the lemon when it gets time to squeeze. Here we go. I like to use this little hand strainer and just catch the seeds. But, you know, seeds don't put you off, don't dirty another dish, right? Got our lemon in there. And we're also going to slice the tail end section of a green onion. Again, when I made the recipe, I saved the top green pieces. I sliced the top of the green onion. I'll save that to garnish our dish. And so this is just the stalk section. I'm just going to give this a cut. Watch those fingers, everybody, when you're doing this. I may not have fingers on my left hand, but I still think about it. Still conscious of knife skills and knife safety. You know, and this is just a base recipe here, okay? So, let me give this a stir. I believe the recipe calls for some grated ginger. I like to use organic ginger. If I don't use organic ginger, I'll be more apt to take the peel off or take the outside of the ginger off. But given that we're using organic ginger, I have no problem just grating it right into the dish. So we got our nub, got our microplane zester. And I find if I go sideways like this with my grating versus having the fibers of the ginger straight down against the teeth of the zester, that's going to be a lot harder than going sideways like this. Let's get some of this in here. Freshly grated ginger falls into the category of aromatic plants that I feel like they just open the senses up. Fresh cilantro is one of them, fresh citrus and lime. When ginger is getting grated in a room, you know about it. It's happening. Work that ginger in. Okay, so next step, I'm gonna take our chicken, throw it in the marinade. Now, I highly suggest with a cut like chicken thighs, let it sit in this dressing overnight. It's gonna be just fine. Obviously, if you need to, you gotta get dinner on the table, get it on the table, just get it cooking. But all of these flavors are going to penetrate the muscle a little better, given a little time. So I'm gonna put these in the fridge, let them sit, grab our next ingredient or two. While I'm in here is our marinated chicken thighs that already did their business for us overnight. And I'm gonna put these straight on the grill. It's time. These are first up. So you know the yellowtail collar is gonna be the next thing we put on the grill, but the chicken's gonna take about 40 minutes, 35 minutes, give or take. And so this is first up. And then while this is grilling, we'll work on the yellowtail, then that will go on and we'll finish with our veggies. Oh yeah, bring on the questions, folks. I feel like I get to cook with you and hang out, and that's why I do this. I worked for 10 years in a kitchen on my own. It was only so much fun, so thanks for the questions. I'm using pecan. I feel like I'm grilling veggies, fish, and chicken today, and pecan seems to be, for me anyway, my flavor profile's the right pellet of choice. It seems to not be too strong, but still give a real nice smoky touch. So you see, I'm just kind of giving these chicken thighs a quick little dunk one more time before they go on. I'm gonna go skin side down, making sure that my grill is nice and clean. Gave it a good brush beforehand. Now we'll just close this lid. We'll come back and check on it here in a minute. Next up, favorite, yellowtail collar. Come on. Okay, so we'll build our marinade for the collar, and maybe there is probably some folks out there wondering where are you getting a collar from, and I actually ask the local fish market and or I'm not too shy to ask a sushi or a Japanese restaurant if they have it on the menu, and I know they have it on the menu. I'll ask if you're nearby a fish market or you have a good fishmonger. If you ask them to save you the collar, they will. And so, as you can see, this is sitting right like that, right there on a yellowtail. And it's a gem of a cut. So if you haven't had this yet, seek it out, see if you can find it, and tell me what you think. Get a hold of me at Chef Eduardo Garcia on Instagram and tell me what you think. We're gonna build our dressing. I'm gonna go with avocado oil. I think this calls for about a quarter cup. Soy sauce. This is a gluten-free soy sauce. So for those who are gluten tolerant, they do have gluten-free soy sauces out there, not made from wheat. I predominantly just use gluten-free soy sauce in the house now. My nephew's GF, one of our team members is, and so it just makes it easier for me. That way, if I know that we're cooking with soy, no questions asked, everyone can eat it. Let's see, I wanted to put sesame oil in there, but that is going to be for the veggies. Throw some black pepper in here. Shout out to my Uncle Michael from Los Angeles, California. You'd think I'd have a pepper mill in this house by now, but nope. After 10 years, and this pepper mill showed up 2 weeks ago. Thanks, Uncle Michael. Most times pepper mills just rotate in my hook and I can't hang on to them, but this one does the trick. Okay, black pepper, soy sauce, avocado oil. We're gonna go with lemon. Again, giving it a squeeze.
Is the recipe on the Traeger website?
Yeah, thanks Isabel for that question. So keep asking those questions and the team will kick them my way. All of these recipes are on the Traeger website. Give it a peruse and use them individually and or line all three up for a meal, for a complete meal. Okay, and then last but definitely not least, we're gonna throw some ginger, some grated ginger in here as well. Finding that sideways profile, so I'm not going perpendicular with the grain. And that's just finicky. That's just finicky Eduardo material. You can grate a ginger however you like to grate your ginger. All right, you get cooking for this many years and you just find your flow. You find what works. And so really these TKLs are about us hanging out, and not just with me. I mean, there is a host of other Traeger chefs with terrific laurels to launch off of in your culinary explorations. So I highly encourage checking out everyone else's as well. 2 weeks from now, I think, Diva Q will be kicking it off after me. I'm gonna give this a little stir. Ginger, lemon, soy, black pepper, jalapeno seasoning. I want a little spice in here. Yeah. The jalapeno seasoning has that garlic in here too, and that'll also add just some beautiful flavor to our fish. Now, I also like to let the kama, as it's known in Japanese, or the collar, I like to let it sit in the marinade for at least a few hours. In this scenario though, just gonna make sure that it gets dressed like that. Both sides. Yeah, this is such a beautiful cut of meat. And we're gonna go back over to our grill, check on our chicken, probably flip it, and get our collar on.
How much meat would you say is on the
You know, it's about a 1 pound collar. So depending on how you're kind of organizing your menu, that collar will feed 1 to 2 to 3 people, depending on what other supporting dishes we've got going on. So this is right where I expect the chicken to be. And I like to be a little ginger with it just to make sure that that skin isn't stuck to the grill so it doesn't pull off. Just give it a flip. Go. Great. And then with the kama, or the collar, I'm going to place that on the grill, and I'll place it skin side down as well. Lid down. All right. Well, that felt rather quick. I'm impressed by that. Sometimes I feel like we get on these TKLs and I get to yakking and I get to chatting and I get to talking. and end up losing track of time. Before you know it, we're off in the 30s or 40s. Take this marinade, I'm actually gonna put it right over here. And sometimes I'll keep that marinade for the kama or for the chicken, and I'll revisit what's grilling, give it a baste, check it out. If it looks like it's drying out, it's not quite cooked yet, I'll save that marinade and give it a little touch up. Okay, next up is our veggies. So, here we go. Now, the recipe that we kicked out for this hand roll spread shows a recipe for grilled mushrooms, grilled bok choy. You can sub out any mushroom you really want for this. I have oyster mushrooms, shiitake mushrooms, and I'm using the baby bok choy. You can use whole bok choy if you want. You can use asparagus, zucchini, mix it up. But for this, we're gonna go with these. First things, I like to take the bok choy, and you can see how bulbous this base is. It's quite big, and yet the fronds or the tops of the leaves, delicate and also thin and small. So what's gonna happen is it's gonna take longer for the bulb or the base to cook than the tops. Therefore, I like to cut them in half, just like that. Leave these here. The reason I like to cut them in half, it's going to reduce the cooking time for this core. And it also, if you look in there, you see all those little caverns and creases, and that's where the dressing we're about to make can find itself and cook into the interior of the vegetable. With your shiitake mushrooms, I like to go through them. Sometimes, this one escaped me, the stalks on shiitakes can be a little woody, a little fibrous, and a little big. So I like to go through and just trim those off if need be. And you know, when you think of this dish, making hand rolls, if you haven't had a hand roll is typically found in the sushi world or the sushi roll world, and instead of being a roll or an uramaki or a fat roll is what ura means, and sliced into rounds, a hand roll, it's really amazing actually. It's almost a kindred spirit to a taco. So you're taking a sheet of nori and filling it with some rice, and then innumerable fillings inside of that. So the seaweed sheet, the nori, the rice, and then almost anything can go in there. And so this dish, a hand roll dish, can have some principal pieces, some principal cuts. We have our yellowtail collar, our grilled chicken thigh, bok choy and mushrooms, and yet look at your fridge a little bit like a painter's palette and say, okay, well, what else do we have in here? We've got some leftover green beans. We've got a couple of that going on. Maybe you have a few Brussels sprouts. Maybe you have a chunk of steak left over. And think of tapas from the Spanish cuisine. And yet with this dish, I like to take little bits and pieces of what we have and fill the table out, because ultimately we're going to use all of that to make our perfect bite. Perfect bite being critical. I'm a big fan of those. A perfect bite is when, for me anyway, is when I look at what's on the table, I'm thinking about all those flavors, and then in my mind, I'm envisioning and dreaming about what is going to all go together so well, in such harmony, that this is going to be the perfect bite. And I feel like when you're looking at a table that's loaded with options, it just gets funner. Funner and funner. Tastier and tastier. So we'll lay this table out here and show you how we get down with it, and you'll see what I mean. So I should also note that with the oyster mushrooms, the base of an oyster mushrooms, and depending on how you're going to get it in the store, you may just find singles like that. However, if it's in a cluster, which is how they grow in the wild, they grow from a cluster and they branch out. And they're actually called oyster mushrooms because of the shape, this round shape, almost teardrop shape of the mushroom itself. But I like to cut that clustered base and separate them. I will keep them together in thirds or twos or singles. You know, we are grilling these, and so they can fall through the cracks. So, you know, we may lose a couple to just the nature of cooking, and that's okay. I want to check on our grill before I get the dressing for the veggies made. Just see how our fish and how our chicken thighs are doing. I'm gonna get my tongs. Are there bones in this collar? Yes, there are bones in the collar. And when we're done cooking the vegetables, I'll show everyone how I break a collar down and get it ready for the hungry masses or just the hungry single person eating. But I'll show you how to take the bones out and get that meat ready to roll. This chicken's looking good. I'm gonna keep it just like that with the skin up. When we get a little closer, when we put the vegetables on, I'll flip that chicken and let the skin crisp up again. But this collar I am gonna flip right now. That all looks good.
What's your favorite thing to cook on the Traeger?
Ooh. Well, recently, pork belly. And that feels like cheating because pork belly is the mom and dad of bacon, and don't know who doesn't like that. But I have been enjoying cooking whole fillets of fish, skin down. There's a steelhead recipe that I think we did a Traeger Kitchen Live last October, maybe. I can't get enough of grilled fish. So we do barbecue, we do grill meat a lot around here, but putting a fish on a grill with smoke, yeah, maybe it speaks to an inner child, maybe it speaks to a younger me, catching trout, cooking it over smoke on the riverbank. So I feel like putting fish on the grill is a highlight when we can. I'm gonna get another bowl out. We're gonna make our veggie dressing. Avocado oil. This is the Montana Mex avocado oil. It's loaded in omega-3 fatty acids. It's a heart-healthy oil. Also has a high smoke point. It's about 440 degrees. What that means is that we can cook with it at high heat. So we're cooking at 400 right now without burning off those vital nutrients. And I think that's pretty critical. You know, if we're using just a cleaned up and refined vegetable oil, that's one thing. But if you're using an oil, like an extra virgin avocado oil or olive oil, you really don't want to be burning off all the good stuff that's in there. And typically, if we're sauteing or grilling, you're going to get to a temperature threshold where those nutrients burn off. So I'm a big fan of our avocado oil for that reason. I'm also going to add another oil to this. Oh, yeah, toasted sesame oil. Smells great, tastes great. Just little goes a long way. So we're just going to put a little dab in there. We're going to throw ginger. We're going to throw some garlic. And I think it would be a miss to not put a little jalapeno seasoning in our veggies also.
Is there a reason for using the collar versus the fillet of the yellowtail?
Great question. You know, I really like to use the collar. Think of it as, okay, how do I make this metaphor? It's the collar has skin on it. It has bone in it. It has plenty of cartilage and connective tissue present in such a sort of a small, tight cut, if you will. And all of those pieces, those components, help keep the meat nice and moist and add a ton of flavor to it. And so, whereas a filet, a yellowtail filet is great, and yet it will just have a slightly different mouthfeel than a collar, which it's like the difference between cooking, say, a chicken breast and roasting a whole chicken. If you've ever heard, oh, roast a whole chicken, all the bones and all the skin, it just puts so much more moisture and flavor into the finished bite. I agree. Now, I think this vegetable dressing, I'm going to go really heavy on the ginger. Hopefully, bits and pieces of the ginger and the garlic get stuck inside the bok choy and inside the gills of the mushroom, and sort of in their entrapment get cooked right there in an embrace with those veggies all the way until it hits your plate. So that's our ginger in. I'm going to take some garlic, about 3 cloves, into this dressing. I just like to get the paper off. Anyone in there right now can just jump in here and help me with these garlic papers. There's a few things that are mighty tough for Eduardo sometimes, especially when I'm trying to keep the garlics whole. They're the teeth whole. Slicing an avocado is one of them. Peeling garlic as well, but we're getting it. There we go. There's 2. Go with 3. Don't forget, folks, if you're hanging out, you're tuning in, you're on Facebook Live, smash that chat bar, ask me a question, get in this kitchen with me. So if you're thinking something, it doesn't have to be related to this recipe, although that's fine by me if it is. This is a really unique opportunity to spend time with everybody, and so I like taking advantage of it. Absolutely. Okay, garlic going in.
How do you like the Traeger Ranger?
The Traeger Ranger, that was the first grill I started cooking on of the Traeger lineup, and I absolutely love it. Typically it lives right out the back door, and seems to be, probably gets the most hours around here. I also I've played on the Timberline 1300, the Ironwood 885, and those, I mean, when you're roasting a whole bird or you're going with a big cut of meat, that's what you have to do. I mean, you just need that space. And yet on the Ranger, it's got a big hopper, so it can hold plenty of pellets for, hours, and it's convenient. It heats up quick, it stays hot, it does a great job. Okay, garlic in. I'm going to give this a stir. My spidey sense says I have to look at the grill. So before I dress our vegetables, I'm going to walk over to the grill and just see and make sure everyone's playing nice in the play yard over here. Oh yeah. These look good. These chicken, they're about ready to come off, and I'm thinking that collar is ready to come off too. So, collar may need just another second. So I'm going to bring the chicken up to the front. Hope you all have good view on this. It just looks great. Absolutely. All right, so this is what your dressing should look like for the vegetables. It should be a little thicker. Like I said, I'm going to take our bok choy And I'm facing it all up, just like that, because now I'm going to ask it to take a drink. And it's going to drink this dressing right up on our mushrooms. There we go. And I get in here with my hands, just make sure that the mushrooms are entirely coated. And then with the bok choy, same thing. I'll take them and I'm just going to kind of, you see how I'm almost painting with them and just picking up some of this extra dressing, make sure that the tops are getting nice and dressed. I feel like once I pull these, put the bok choy and the mushrooms on the grill, it may be time to lock in a little trivia moment with everybody. We've got some prize packages to give away. I think 5, to be honest. I'm going to give you a hint if everyone wants to get their brains mildly plugged into where the trivia is going, but it's going to be about the artist series. It will be based on the conversation we had earlier about the artist series that we're currently doing, Montana Mex and Traeger and artist Noel Wyman. Okay, veggies entirely dressed, looking beautiful. Got my little bleach bucket down here, give my hand a little bit of a dunk and a dry off. I feel like we're looking good on time too. Plenty of time to talk about this dish and how it comes together on the table, because there are a few different components here. Well, that looks good, doesn't it? So, if you're playing on a bigger grill, you could play with more food. Right now, this Ranger is doing a phenomenal job keeping the speed. Hopper's still full of pellets. We're gonna throw our bok choy on, and I'm gonna throw it cut face down, just like that. And we're gonna throw our mushrooms around here as well. Yeah. All right. I think I probably prepped a little too much for this grill, but I am going to take the chicken and yellowtail off now because they look done. They look like they're ready to come off.
Could you use a garlic press for this recipe?
Yes, you can absolutely use a garlic press. That was my dad's favorite tool in the house because garlic was his favorite ingredient, and like me, he got tired of peeling it. Yeah, so this chicken just looks beautiful. That's exactly how I'm looking for the chicken in my house. It's nice, blackened edges, beautiful like that. And then this collar, yeah, you just can't say no to that. We're gonna come back for that. Isabel, could I get a plate from you, please? Thanks. Oh yeah, that looks good. Thank you. All right, we're gonna pull this collar off. Give a little bit more room to our veggies. All right. So, if everyone is interested, we're gonna break this yellowtail collar down together. This is the collar we just took off the grill. So I'll work with this collar, a little bit of movie magic. I already had some of this cooked off, knowing that we'd be juggling space. And our family fell in love with this cut here in Bozeman at a Japanese restaurant, Seven Sushi. If you're in town, go say hi to those guys. They're family. And we really, as a family, started having this collar at that restaurant, and then we incorporated it into our own eating here at home. And so how I like to break this down, the skin, bottom side. So we're gonna go bottom side down the skin, and this is gonna be the fattest part of meat is up here. And with the bones, you just have to start getting through it with your fingers, pulling them to the side. And what I'll do when I get down to the table, first thing I'll do is I'll do this. I will just start peeling the fish off the bone. And this is going to make it a lot easier for everyone who's eating to take advantage of the hand roll scenario. So then I'm just going to give it a twist right here in the middle, and that's where that jawbone ends. And here's the top. This is the top portion of the shoulder, and this still has bones in it. So we'll want to go through this. And this meat is so beautiful and flaky that I'll tend to leave it. I won't completely break it down. I'm going to leave some of these pieces slightly large, but you can see I'm just kind of flecking it. And you know, another thing to consider too, here in our house, I don't mind the bones. My wife's not a big fan, and so I usually do my best to remove the bones when it's a dish like this, especially if we have company, if we have kiddos. And yet I'll also let everyone know there may be bones. So look out.
What Montana Mex seasoning did you use for the chicken?
The chicken was, so for the chicken thighs, we used the Montana Mex avocado oil, and then also our jalapeno and chile seasoning. Both of which, all three of which, are part of the keto pack, the ketogenic pack, that is included in today's giveaway. So if you nail the trivia, then you're going to be getting that bag of pellets, pair of tongs, our keto pack, and this Artist Series hat and shirt. Winner, winner. Okay, here we go. Looks a little messy. It's food. Play with it. Have some fun with it. Here's our whole collar. I'm going to take the shredded yellowtail, put it on this serving plate. There we go. If you have a cat, a dog, this skin, they're going to love it. Give my hands a little bit of a wash down here. What you all can't see is that here in my kitchen, I've got pots and pans down here, a little trash, all my sheet pans. So I've got a bleach bucket for keeping my hand nice and clean. All right, so fun part, we are here. I want to show everyone what the Garcia household table looks like when we do hand rolls. Piece de resistance, one of our focal pieces, is going to be our yellowtail collar. Have our grilled chicken thighs. Our grilled bok choy and mushrooms. Yeah, okay. There we go. And so the way I'll continue to build this out, it's going to be my plate, and I'm going to show you how I do this. Sheets of nori, a little soy dipper. I'm going to step out of frame for a second here and grab some toppings. Got sprouts from my friend's aquaponics program in Livingston, Montana. Isn't that neat? He's got fish in tanks, and that water cycles into these bed of sprouts. Roots down, Montana. Good job. Got some avocado oil, or sorry, some fresh avocado. This is our spread. Looking good. Don't want to forget on our vegetables. Before we get started, I'm going to take the last couple veggies off of the grill because I want everyone to see what they look like when they're done. So we'll shoot over to the grill here for just a second. Oh, these look good. Give our mushrooms a little bit of a turn. I think we're almost ready to take a bite here. Yeah, so you can see nice charring and beautiful blackening that's happening on the top of that bok choy. So really, at this point, you can go ahead and add this to your dish, and or you can cook them for just a little longer on that backside. I like the looks of these mushrooms. I mean, they just look great right now, so I'm gonna pull them off. I want to make sure we have time to do our trivia question and have a bite of food. Yeah, these look great. Can everyone see this spread all right? Yeah? Okay, good. So it looks great to me. So, I should not forget, whether you're doing brown rice, white rice, we've got a pot of steamed brown rice right here, ready to go. And in a nutshell, this is kind of what a family table is going to look like over here. Kimchi, sprouts, animal-based protein, not always, sometimes a complete vegan spread, steamed rice, grilled veggies, our bok choy and mushrooms, and this is the fun part. Okay, so the way that I like to start this, I'll get a little pile of rice, a couple pieces of chicken, get some of this beautiful yellowtail. And I like to put it right on top of the rice, at least the meats, so that the oils and flavor of the fish that's still kind of gently coming out is going to season or flavor that brown rice. I like a little piece of skin on my chicken thigh. I'm going to take some little pile of sprouts, definitely some avocado, a little bit of kimchi for a little bit of heat. Okay. This is how I do my bite, and then we're going to do this trivia. I take a piece of nori, just like this. This starts as a bigger sheet, and I fold it until it's this size. This is 1/16. You can fold it any shape and size you want. That's the beauty of this. From here, I'm simply going to take this, like a pincher, hello, get it on the plate, and I'll take a little pinch, just like that. I'm going to dip it in the soy sauce. Mom, sis, thank you for showing me how to use up leftovers, how to use whatever's in the fridge, how to celebrate vegetables, and how to play with my food. One of my greatest joys in life, and then sharing it with all of you. So, one more bite. Then we have a trivia to do. Here's the question. Is everyone ready? I think so. Okay. I'm not. I want to take one more bite. Try that recipe. You're going to love them. All three of them. So here's the trivia. On the Montana Mex, logo is a great horned owl. And the great horned owl is wearing an outfit. First 5 folks that reach out in the chat bar on Facebook Live and let us know what the outfit is that our mascot, our totem, our spirit animal, our hot sauce to hoot about, our buddy Hoot, what is he, she, him wearing? That's the trivia question. Whoever answers that correctly first, 5 of you, are going to pick up a bag of pecan pellets, the Montana Mex ketogenic pack, that's our avocado oil, our chile seasoning, our jalapeno seasoning. You're going to get a pair of Traeger tongs and this hat plus a t-shirt on us, and I hope you rock it proudly. So, if anyone has any questions, if we've got any correct answers coming through the chat bar, I want to hear about them. If we don't, we may have to collect correct answers as they come in, and the social teams over here at Montana Mex and at Traeger, I think it'll be actually the Traeger crew, will reach out to you and let you know that you have won that pack. So I appreciate everyone for joining me at Family Table. You know, this kicked off at my mom's home, then it went to my sister's home, and we have celebrated this dish in innumerable ways with innumerable people, and I feel like the same thing applies every time. You may not fold your hand roll like I do. Maybe this is called a hand pinch, whatever it's called. This is really good food. It's made with love. It's tasty, and I invite everybody to try and celebrate this journey of food on your own with these recipes. You can find them on the Traeger website. You can find that Ranger, if you're in love with it, on the Traeger website, those tongs, and of course the Montana Mex products at montanamex.com.
What was your favorite thing to make while you were a yacht chef?
My favorite thing to make as a yacht chef was crew meal. None of the operation would happen without the crew. So at 18 years old in Seattle, I was working at a restaurant called the Flying Fish, and I was in charge of desserts and pantry and shucking oysters and also crew dinner. And I remember seeing it as a mild inconvenience. I gotta make crew meal, why me? And then I started to see the light shine in everybody's eyes. I started to see their smiles. A waiter, a waitress, a busboy, a dishwasher, and anybody that was crew, when they got to crew chow, it was like they were getting hugged by something great and strong. And it hit me. I was like, wow, I was part of that. I made crew meal. This matters. I better pay attention. And I just started pouring myself into it, realizing that the crew, the team, is the ball bearings that makes the show happen. There's a whole crew here helping do this. Isabel, Becca, thank you both. And also the whole Traeger team making these Traeger Kitchen Lives a reality. I'm having a blast with them. And so I hope to do more and hope to see you all soon for another one of these. I feel like we're at a good point for me to just keep eating, and or if you have any questions, send them in.
Have you ever smoked a whole red snapper?
I haven't. The only thing I've done with, so the question was, have I smoked a whole red snapper? No, I have not. I've grilled a whole red snapper. I'd love to know how it turns out if you try it over there at home.
Do you have a favorite rub for trout?
Yeah, I do. That red chili, that jalapeno seasoning, those two. So it's a combination of chiles and garlic, sea salt, a little bit of cilantro and oregano, a lot of lemon or lime, either one, just get some acid in there for trout. That's gonna be my go-to. My dad would have put orange pieces and onion in the cavity if he was roasting a whole trout, but that would be my go-to. Is for me, with seafood, I always wanna go with something mildly spicy or spicy, but definitely with some spice. So I'm always bringing chiles in, I'm always bringing garlic in, sea salt, some herbaceous notes. When I'm thinking of trout, depending on where I want to go with it, but I tend to almost always land in Latino or Asian influenced foods. So I'm thinking of herbs that sort of work well there. Cilantro is going to be one of them. I wonder if anyone's got that trivia question. I knew it was going to be a hard one. but it's not hard to find this logo. You can look at any of our products, and I know one of you, I know a few of you are going to get this. So again, our trivia question is, what is the outfit that Hoot, the Montana Mex owl, is wearing? Someone's going to go get that. I feel like we're going to wrap this one up for everybody. So 15 minutes from now, I'm going to jump onto Instagram Live with Whiskey Bent Barbecue, Mr. Chad Ward, and we're going to open this up. I'm going to do it right here, right from the kitchen. So we're going to chat about whatever is on your mind, whatever Chad's got going on. So please join us over there. That'll be on the Traeger Instagram page. And then, of course, 2 weeks from now, Diva Q, part of the Traeger Nation, a stellar chef when it comes to grilling over wood smoke, someone that I can learn a lot from and that we can all learn a lot from. So make sure to tune into her Traeger Kitchen Live. And thank you for celebrating a dish that, especially in Women's History Month, which is the month of March, right here, right now, a collection of foods, a hand roll celebration that has just been kind of here in an evolution for a long, long, long time. Okay, and before I let you go, ta-da! The names of the winners are John Fraun, congrats. Matthew Landon, Kirk Lehman, Brian Allen, and last but definitely not least, Joel Espinoza. All 5 of you are getting a Montana Keto Pack, a bag of pecan Traeger pellets, a pair of their tongs, and of course, what matters most to me, you're getting this Artist Series hat from Noel Wyman, and you're getting a t-shirt. So kudos to everybody that joined today. Much love from mi casa to your casa, and I'll see you all in 15 minutes and or soon. Adios.